What time is it? It's Packard Folks at time. Hat? Check. Shirt? Check. Pants? Optional. Mug? Double check. Check us out at cafepress.com/PackardPokesat where you can get all this great merchandise and more.
Do you like Packard Pokesat and want to hear it on demand and on the go? Download the free app today at Stitcher.com. Available on iOS, Android, Nook, and iPad.
This is Packard Pokesat, and I'm poking at your news.
Hello, everybody. This is Packard Pokesat, the Midweek Show. This is episode 466. Oh, what a fucking week this has been so far. We got people exploding. We got things stabbing. We got things just going all over the place. I would be wondering if we had a week that when we went to go to say, hey, here's what's happening, nothing was happening. So we just stand here and look at each other for 30 minutes. I don't know. Maybe could we try that, people? Can we please collectively try that? Let's just go 1 week without somebody exploding, stabby, shooty, or anybody else for 1 week.
Can't we all just get along?
Can't we all just get the fuck along? Yes. Can we just all just get along?
Apparently
1 week. 1 week. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for world peace or world peas. I'm asking for 1 week. Just give us a week off, everybody. That includes you, little fucking Trump. Anyway.
Hell, just 1 day.
1 day for Trump. Just 1 day. Just 1 day. Trump without Trump. That would be nice.
Well,
Anyway.
if his name's not in a memo handed to him, he loses interest immediately. So
Absolutely, that's right. They did. What they did with his briefings. They put the word the Great Wall Trump and Trump and Trump and Trump and Trump and Trump. So,
Well, you can always pull a Kathy Griffin.
yeah. Yeah, now let's talk about that just real quick here. I saw this online. I thought, what the hell is going on? So I popped on my news on the Pluto TV, which is a great app, which if you can get it for your iPhone, your Android phone, your computer, tablets, and all kinds of things. It's a great app, and it's free. So anyway, they were talking about that. I saw this meme where someone said where it had a picture of Kathy Griffin holding the head of Trump. And I didn't know. I just thought it was a head. I didn't know it was Trump at the time. And then they showed a picture of her holding supposedly Obama's head. And they said, this is acceptable. And then apparently when it was Obama, it would be unacceptable. Now, this is a false narrative. And it's a false dichotomy on that particular meme for one particular reason is because black people in this country were hunted and this kind of shit happened to them. There isn't a whole lot of precedent for white women or people anyway going around cutting off the heads of white men and then holding their heads up. So it's a false narrative. It's not an equal thing. Although the what I thought was really funny is the apparently the Secret Service in this one instance tweeted at her saying, hey, any threats against the president we're going to be investigating. There was people who were making threats to Obama all the time, and the Secret Service is...
yeah, they were burning effigies of Obama. They, pictures of him being hanged, all of these kinds of things.
Oh, and pastors praying for his death.
Yeah,
and not to mention that there's that one dude that made the zombie Obama, and he was making those things so they could be shot at. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's perfectly exactly the same. Let's get a grip here, people. For 8 years, Obama was targeted by these fuckers, and now when Trump gets targeted, even in the littlest bit, all of a sudden everybody loses their collective minds. No, the fuck no. Anyway, sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Connie, what stories do you have for us tonight?
Well, let's see.
We lost Connie.
Oh, Connie disappeared.
Yep.
I was sitting here waiting for Connie, and then she disappeared. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Since we're waiting for Connie to come back, Atheist Ranger, what have you got for stories today?
Well, you may have seen this one on the news, but Mississippi man kills 8, says God will forgive him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I hadn't seen that one on the news.
Oh, really? Okay. Willie Coy God. I guess his last name is actually Godbolt. He's 35, who shot dead 8 people at the I think last weekend, including law enforcement officer William Durr, told reporters that God will forgive him. And I quote, this is him talking, and I quote, "My intention was to have God kill me. I ran out of bullets. Suicide by cop was my intention. I ain't fit to live, not after what I've done, not in y'all's eyes, and not in nobody else's eyes. But God, he forgives you for everything."
Jesus Christ. How
Yep.
fucking horrible.
He went on that little rampage because of a domestic dispute between him and his ex-wife.
Really? So it was God's plan that he killed more, but he just didn't pack enough ammo?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, his intention was suicide by cop.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
No, I just want to punctuate this. I just want to punctuate this for just a second with this was there's this little fucktard Christian online on Google Plus, and he goes by Brother William. If you've encountered him, you'll know who I'm talking about. He makes really shitty, crappy pictures and whatnot. And he put this one thing up saying that atheists were going to try to kill Christians, or we're in the process of trying to kill them all the time or something. And there's this other dickhead that's in that chat, and he says, oh, well, we should kill atheists and Jews and anybody that pretty much doesn't believe what we believe. And some of those words were almost to the exact quote. And Brother William, who said that, saying that it's not okay for atheists to do this to them, which it's not happening to begin with. But when he says we should kill when he says that Christians should kill atheists and Jews, he's like, don't care. It's perfectly fine with me. That just shows how fucking immoral these Christians really are. And this guy here, he's just kind of putting up exclamation point on it.
Yep.
Well, it just seems like it's okay for other people to, for the Christians to kill people, but it's not okay for other people to kill the Christians.
Yeah. Well, that's because they're special chosen people.
Right.
Well, and if they do,
they get carte blanche for everything, it seems like.
Yeah. Connie, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, and if they do, they claim mental illness.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is one of many things that's wrong with Christianity and religion in general, is that it pretty much gets you a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, they think so. They think so. Of course, their get out of jail free card is hell, or so they think.
Well, get out of jail free card is more like, if you apologize, if you're covered by the blood, there's eternal security, or you can apologize for it after the fact, or whatever. It's
So, Connie, what is the story that you were going to share with us today?
I'm going to switch it up. I want to share the idea that Trump is handing out his cell phone number, urging world leaders to call him on his own cell phone. He's been handing out his number to world leaders, urging them to call him directly. An unusual invitation that breaks down diplomatic protocol and is raising concerns about the security and secrecy of the U.S. Commander-in-Chief's communications. It's also hypocrisy because one of his talking points in the campaign was that criticizing Hillary Clinton for using her own private email to do correspondence. So it's not like he doesn't have some understanding that there is a security breach when you are using electronic technology. According to this article, I thought it was interesting that Obama was our first sitting president to actually have that kind of, have a cell phone on him, and they had to figure out how that was going to work. But Trump is just not understanding how diplomacy works. He just thinks he should be able to shoot from the hip and talk with people and and that, or I don't know. I can't tell if he's just the village idiot or if he has ulterior motives. He scares me quite a lot. So his handlers are kept busy all the time with this man.
I was just going to say that so far, what I've heard on this story is that nobody's called him except for Justin Trudeau from Canada. He's the only person he's had contact with him that called his personal number. And the fact is that those frequencies are out there. And if you know what you're doing, you can hack those frequencies and you can listen in on somebody else's cell phone call. It is incredibly easy.
The NSA does it all the time.
But on bumps, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, NSA. I feel so much safer, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but think about it. Would you want some terrorist trying to call Trump?
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
Trump answers his phone.
Yeah, what if his number gets out into the general public, or it gets in hands of some terrorists and they call him and they say, hey, they imitate some president or whatever, or some leader, and they said,
or some leader who has a nefarious agenda.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Matt. Are you saying that his phone would be a beacon and then maybe somebody would take him out? I'm just trying to imagine the downside.
That's possible.
I'm trying to imagine the downside of this.
Did you want to hit?
There's no downside to that, but I think the problem is that, with all this electronic technology, anything can happen.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody's going to use it as a beacon, but Connie, did you want me to hand you a Trump head?
Well, you know what? As far as that, and as far as the whole Kathy Griffin thing, I find effigies and things of that nature, or burning flags, to be a very bombastic statement. But then again, number one,
I actually have no problem with burning flags. I have no problem with burning flags. That's constitutionally protected.
I can think of situations where I might want to do that. Because again, I think it's a really strong statement. You have to be able to feel really passionate to do something like that. And so I don't want to take that away from other people, and neither does the Supreme Court. I just think that it was probably a very, very ill-advised move on her part, but I would love to Streisand the hell out of that thing. I'm upset that she at least apologized for what she did, and apologies from Trump is not forthcoming for anything. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, and she did suffer a penalty, for a serious penalty, that the next year's ball thingamabobber at the end of the year, which is only now, what is it, 6-7 months away now? We're getting next month is June. We're in the 6 months. Well, yeah, 6 months away. Where'd the year go?
And CNN has dropped her. I don't know what she was doing for CNN. I don't know.
That's what she was doing for CNN. She was, on that crystal ball thingamabobber.
I don't watch CNN, so I mean,
I'm just saying that's what I heard. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you got for us today?
There was a girl who killed this Uber driver a couple nights ago.
Oh. Well, I'm going to change my plans on becoming an Uber driver. Let me just change that. I know. Remove that.
In one of the northern suburbs from me. She called an Uber, went to a Walmart, and then stole a machete and some kind of a knife. It was like 2 knives or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then she called the second one to go somewhere else. And then she called the third one to go to another place. And then she ended up killing the Uber driver.
The third driver?
Yes. The third driver,
wow.
34-year-old male.
Any reason why?
Don't know. All I know is that she was charged with first-degree murder. She's 16 years old. And she's
16? Wait, she's 16 years old?
16 years old. She's a girl from the city of Chicago. And she went up to a northern suburb and ended up killing somebody, an Uber driver.
Oh, my God.
Damn. That's fucking horrible.
It's crazy. 16 years old.
That is, what in
that
the
is horrible.
world?
That's just horrible. It happened in Lincolnwood, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
First-degree murder and the stabbing death of Uber driver in northern suburban Lincolnwood. Elza Wozni was charged as an adult in with first-degree murder. The Cook County State's Attorney said an appearance of his bond court called the attack heinous and unprovoked. Wozni was denied bail. Well, good. During her bond hearing, Cook County prosecutors said 34-year-old Grant Nelson of Wilmot was Wozni's third Uber driver Tuesday morning, picking her up after she stole a knife and a machete from a Walmart in Skokie. That's what I'm confused with. Why is Walmart selling machetes?
I don't know.
Camping. They're in camping. You need them to cut down brush and things like that. It's for small branches and stuff.
How the hell did she walk out of a Walmart with a machete? It's
well,
not
because the people who are standing guard at the doors don't pay any attention.
There's nobody at these doors anymore. Walmart gets rid of all those people at certain times of the day. It says here, the victim runs to the lobby door and is heard banging and screaming, help me, I'm going to die. said the Assistant State's Attorney's Michelle Cunningham. Prosecutors said Warsame tried driving off in Nelson's car but hit a median. Then police responding to 911 calls found her hiding, still holding the knife and machete. They said she was repeatedly told to put the knife down, and then, or when she didn't, she was tased. See, that's how they should have handled it. Tased. They did the right thing. They tased her. I'm willing to bet you this woman is white. How much you want to bet she's white?
Oh no, I can say a white young girl. If she'd been black or she'd been in some other color, some other flavor, that they would have shot her.
Oh yeah, I willing to bet you that she was.
I'm sorry, because if non-compliance, escalates the force used usually, and I'm sorry.
I don't know for sure because I have no pictures of her at this moment, but it's still I willing to bet you that she was white. I mean, with that name, she was probably white.
Also, I think where she was picked up, what kind of neighborhoods are those? Are they like middle class or?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the ghetto or anything. It's
Well, I can say sometimes addresses spark a certain amount of trepidation on your part. I mean,
well, according to where the call was placed to the 911 was at the intersection of North Lincoln Avenue and Toohey, which is just on the border of the city of Chicago.
That's just horrible. That's just horrible.
While we are poking at your news, you can poke us at Facebook and Twitter, or poke us with an email at ppapodcast@gmail.com, or leave us a message at 662-709-PPAP. Join us live on YouTube/Packard Pokesat on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time. Be part of the conversation by live chatting with us during the show. Enjoy the show? Help support us by becoming a monthly patron at patreon.com/Packard Pokesat. Or look awesome by buying something at cafepress.com/Packard Pokesat. No money, no problem. You can help us by sharing the show with friends and rate us on iTunes and Stitcher. For everyone that shares and rates us, you kick ass.
The Atheists,
the Bible,
and No Wardrobe, the podcast.
Wait a minute. No wardrobe? You mean we're going to be naked while we do this?
Well, seeing how I'm an atheist and I'm reading the Bible, and since clothes are flammable, fire, I thought it might be a good idea to take them all off first.
Naked or not, follow along as we read, analyze, and try to keep you from falling asleep as we go through this boring-ass book.
Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Who knows? We may even be on YouTube someday. I have another story here. Since we went all this death and destruction and murder and shit, let's talk about something positive for a change. That Denmark is on the verge of repealing its blasphemy law. This is a good thing, people. They have an old blasphemy law that's still on the books, and they're going to go, hey, you know what? I think it's time we should get rid of this. What do you think? Let's do that. Well, it's considered that a bit of a relic that didn't stop one prosecutor from trying to use one of the blasphemy laws that they have in the books in this past February against a man who burned a Quran back in late of 2015. The law's mere existence also suggests that the religious criticism or symbolic acts ought to be forbidden, providing support for those countries where people who are regularly punished or killed for speaking out against popular dogma. This is from the article. It says, we have agreed to support the proposal to abolish the blasphemy clause, said the Liberal politician spokesman Jacob Elleman Jensen. The government parties have basically had different views as to whether abolition is abolition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, abolition, whatever.
To abolish, yeah.
Yeah, abolition, yeah, is a good idea. While the Liberal Alliance and conservatives have advocated dropping for controversial claims, then the official policy of the left has been that it supported the clause. According to Reader Bryan, who passed this along, supported the Liberal Party, not to be confused with the Liberal Alliance, said should give the repeal side the numbers they need to finally repeal the law for good. I'm glad, because your religious feelings don't mean shit. Because you don't like something someone says about your beliefs, that's just a too bad. That's just a too bad.
That's good news. That is good news. I mean,
that's great news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
mean,
we
they're-
would. These blasphemy laws that occur in other places across the country. I will not just this country. I mean, like the entire planet. Blasphemy laws is nothing. Are there for only one reason: to protect an imaginary sky wizard's feelings. And if you think about it, it's not the imaginary sky wizard's feelings that are going to get hurt, because if he was getting hurt, he would say something, or it would say something, or she would say something, whoever, whatever it is, it would come down and say, hey, I don't like that. And even if it did, let's just say a God exists for this reason, for this example, then that God or goddess or whatever it is has a glass jaw. Am I wrong?
I propose a thought experiment, and that is that how about we remove all of these laws, and if God's really upset about this or abortion or birth control or any number of things, then let's see if the country really does go to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah,
literally.
I would be happy to see all these blasphemy laws just go bye-bye. All together, just go away. I got another article, but I'm going to save it for the staff meeting. But the fact that these blasphemy laws are not there to protect anybody but the religion. The religion itself is the thing that they makes them the money, and it keeps them and people under control. You don't say a thing because you don't like a thing, because blasphemy, which is total bullshit.
Well, it protects the group think of the group,
It does.
of the people who believe. It's like, well, if you're that insulated against anything that disagrees with, what you believe about God, then I don't know. I can't help you, but don't force everybody else to bow to it. I personally try not to be really offensive about religion. I have loved ones who are believers, and I care about them deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And I phrase my questions and things appropriately to them because I love them. But it doesn't mean that I respect their religion. I respect them, and so that's that. But again, I love them enough to say, well, do you really think that this is okay when it oversteps its bounds? Imposing it on other people and or possibly harming themselves. Don't let it do that.
I personally, I take no umbrage of it. I mean, when I'm around my family, which I don't have that much contact with them, so for me, it's not a big deal.
Well, again, but we're talking that's the difference too. Is we're talking about my kids. We're talking about
my kids.
My mother. So they're my family, yeah. So it's like, okay, well, I'm happy to adjust it, but you know what? Then again, I ascribe more to the idea about the sun and the wind competing to get a man to take his coat off. So I do have an ulterior motive behind it, but
I want all my kids to come to my funeral.
I very much appreciate and admire people who also live their life out loud and don't care in some ways about whether or not it offends people. I'm like, wow, I'm not there, but kudos to you. You probably have one less ulcer than I do, so
I'm upfront with my feelings with my kids. I say, hey, this is, sometimes my kids will, when my daughter comes over, she will say, oh, and I prayed for you, Dad. And she knows that I just like, she knows that it's going to be, to poke the bear type thing. She says it like that just to do that. And I know she's kidding. I know she's kidding about it because of the look on her face. She's like,
Well, Thor does have Pantene hair. It's very gorgeous. I would pray to him too.
My family doesn't even know I'm an atheist. So,
well, there's only a couple people in my family that actually know. I one brother and one sister, and the one that's ultra religious, I don't think she knows.
I can appreciate the trepidation there, if there's any, Matt. That's
I choose to keep that to myself, and I don't have to go around. Plus, I have a cousin who is a Catholic priest, so don't ever want to tell him that.
Yeah, you don't want to go out here in your yard burning a cross.
That's true. I'm not sure why it matters, is what I sometimes wonder, but I guess it has more to. I was a very vocal Christian, and so I guess
what I don't understand is why
wired that way.
Why do Christians get to spout anything that they want everywhere they want? But when it comes to not believing, we have to go, shh, can't offend everybody. And honestly, I think that's wrong. I think that's the wrong thing, the way to look at it. If those people are offended, that's just too fucking bad. Because the fact is, they don't have a right to not be offended. But I understand where you're coming from, Connie. You don't want to, don't want to cause rift between you and your kids. I understand that.
No. Well, I want to have, it's small battles. I want to win the war.
Yeah.
So, but
is that how we defeat Mr. Toupee?
Actually, if my father had been alive, I probably would still be closeted.
Yeah, I understand that.
But he probably would have seen right through me. So,
yeah. I just got one more thing I got to say. Speaking of toupees and things like that, there's no way that Kathy Griffin would have been able to hold up a Trump head because there's no hair there. It's a toupee. You've just been holding a toupee.
It's not a toupee. It's a headpiece.
It's a hairpiece. Whatever it is, there would be no head. The head wouldn't be able to support it because it just fall off. It's just like they just fall off. It's like, oh, I have a wig.
Okay, my new business venture is the Bigly Hair for Men. It's a hair system. It's really awesome. It's really great. It's so great. Yeah.
Everyone knows there's a weasel on his head.
Yeah.
Triples would probably scream at him too, the way they do Klingons. Never mind.
Yeah, well. Where do we find we need Tribbles to ferret out, these horrible people.
Now I'm thinking about Kim Jong-un. Ronri. Rhymes so Ronri. Yeah, I know.
Oh, it just the whole.
Just give them Twitter accounts. They'll show themselves, evidently.
Yeah, well,
they can't help themselves.
Yeah, Trump certainly can't help himself with all kinds of things there. All righty, well, we got to head out of here. Come to the live show at 9 p.m. Central Time here on YouTube.com. And I want to thank Real Paul Marshall. He helped me.
Yes, it was so
thank
awesome.
you. Thank you, Real Paul Marshall, for pointing out that little error I had. For some reason on the video feeds, and they were going out to YouTube, from YouTube out to Facebook, they kept saying we're on at our old channel. I'm like, what the hell is that all about? I had to do a little investigating, and it was in the description on the YouTube page for the default settings. So I'm like, oh well, I gotta fix that.
Well, you're like the maid. There's a never-ending.
It's a never-ending
to be done.
Yeah, it's a never-ending battle with this show. I'm always trying to fix something. Anyway, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
And that's a wrap.